Look, if Warner Brothers is submitting a trailer to be approved, they ain't delaying this film. And we still getting in 2020. I don't want to jinx it. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. We've got some movie news to talk about today. We're going to be discussing the upcoming trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong. It seems to be coming to us very soon, showing real promise that this movie will not be delayed. Talking about some details on Spider-Man 3 and that whole Sony universe. A little bit about this Canadian Jaws movie that Kevin Smith is working on. That and so much more, guys. So I need your opinions down below on what you think of everything we discussed today. It's a lot of fun seeing all the different opinions that go around, especially because we have such a nice peaceful environment here. Ain't nobody gonna think less of you if you believe Kong is gonna definitely rip the cheeks apart from Godzilla. I'm on that team. But also be sure to hit that like button and making it turn blue. It just really makes my day to see you guys leave that appreciation on the channel. It lets me know you want to see more videos. Alright, so starting off with some horror movie news. You know, on this channel I love me horror films, and I definitely like to show light to some really obscure and weird horror movies upcoming. Just like the Wally's Wonderland movie that is kind of like a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And now we have Kevin Smith over here making essentially a Canadian Jaws movie that, you know what, has me really intrigued. Giving you a quick summary if you do not know, filmmaker Kevin Smith, which I am a huge fan of, the guy does not always make the best movies, but the guy sure does have a great podcast, a nice personality, and hey, I look up to him as a guy who went from nothing to making something of himself, and that's kind of what's happening here. Well, his next project that he's working on is entitled Moose Jaws. And the way he describes it, it's basically Jaws with a moose set in Canada. It's a horror movie that I guess will be in the same vein as Jaws, and instead of being in the water and a shark coming after you, you're in the great wilderness of Canada and a moose is after you. Well, doing an interview recently with Jake Hamilton, he dropped a whole bunch more details about this upcoming horror movie that it's like, yo, this don't seem like it's gonna be a masterpiece, but it's gonna be a fun little Friday night rental, in my opinion. This is what he had to say right now about the movie. Right now, I'm in the middle of that rewrite, and I'm stripping Jay and Silent Bob out of it. The first draft I have, Jay and Silent Bob were riddled throughout it, and now I want the movie to be by itself. Jay and Silent Bob are gonna come back in the Mallrats sequel and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of DJ and bobbing Moose Jaws. Continuing on specifically on the movie and what we can expect, Moose Jaws is like my favorite thing I have ever written. This is a fucking film, man. This is like pouring my heart out on the page. I love Jaws and I love Canada, and I combine the two of them so the whole thing is beat for beat Jaws up until the third act. In the third act, it becomes Godzilla destroys all monsters, Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan, and end on the return of the Jedi. It's pretty magical. Bro, if anybody else is a Kevin Smith fan out there, you know the man likes to really exaggerate and put his heart and soul in everything he does, even if it doesn't turn out 100% great. The only reason I'm even remotely excited about this is because the movie Tusk, which he did, which I believe you can still find on Netflix, about a man who is interviewing a person only to then be subdued and surgically turned into a walrus. I found half of that movie to be pretty amazing. There's a lot of stuff in that movie that I was like, Kevin Smith can be a really great horror director if he just stopped kind of goofing around, adding all these real inside heavy jokes from his podcast and trying to just entertain a small audience, which now hearing him say that he's trying to take out Jay and Silent Bob from the movie, which is kind of like what his brand is. He puts Jay and Silent Bob in a lot of his films, and really wanting to focus it on being its own movie gives me hope that maybe he's learning his lesson and actually trying to craft a good movie. Because Kevin Smith will be the first person to tell you that his movie sucks. He does not hide it at all. He's like, I did a bad movie? Oh well. All the more reason I respect the man. And I know there'll already be people out there saying, really? He's ripping off Jaws beat for beat? Yo, Moose Jaws would not be the first horror movie to rip off Jaws. It's literally been done thousands of times. At least this one isn't even with a shark and is more of a creature feature set in the Canada aesthetic. But the part here in the interview that blows my mind and makes me go, that is so stupid, but I'm gonna want to see that, is he says here, Justin Long returns as Tusk and he fights Moose Jaws. The man who gets turned into a walrus in that movie will cross over into Moose Jaws, and we will see these two creatures fighting on screen. A half man, half walrus with a demonic Canadian moose fighting. Why would you not see this movie? I really don't know what to expect from this film. I just hope it turns out watchable and is just a cheesy, fun ride. Let me know what you guys think about this Moose Jaws movie, and are you even remotely interested in checking this thing out? Jumping into some superhero movie news, let's discuss Spider-Man 3 and the upcoming Spider-Man movie that looks like it might be delayed. So this will be the third solo Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, still set in the MCU and also part of this Sony Spider Universe with Venom, Morbius, and I'm sure more other spin-offs to come. And one of the great things of the last Spider-Man movie is that end credit cameo of J.K. Simmons returning to the Spider-Man franchise to play J. Jonah Jameson, the head of the Daily Bugle. And while we all thought that was just a cool little Easter egg, it was a one and done thing, just showing fans like, hey, this guy that you knew from this movie is now in this universe. Turns out Sony and Marvel have future plans for this character because the actor J.K. Simmons has revealed that he signed on for multiple Spider-Man sequels. Meaning, not only are we going to get more Spider-Man movies after Spider-Man 3, but we will be seeing J. Jonah Jameson pop up again to inflict some mental damage on Peter Parker's life. Yes, man. I don't know about you, but I just got the biggest smile on my face when I saw J.K. Simmons pop up as his character again. And especially now with what Spider-Man 3 is dealing with Peter Parker's identity becoming completely public, I can only imagine the type of cyberbullying J. Jonah Jameson is going to do on this poor kid's life. But something even smarter that I'm now just realizing is probably what they're mostly going to use him for is that this is going to be the way Sony communicates to the audience that, hey, our little Sony Spider-Man universe is kind of connected to the MCU. Because with the way that Morbius trailer ended and showing the Vulture played by Michael Keaton, a villain that we saw in an MCU Spider-Man movie, that let us know, okay, this Sony universe is connected to the MCU, even if the MCU will just ignore what happens in Venom or Morbius. We've already seen behind the scene photos in Morbius where the Daily Bugle logo is front and center, so we'll be seeing Easter eggs all throughout the movie, and most likely J.K. Simmons appearing talking about, oh, there's a vampire now running amok New York City. What else is next? And even if Marvel comes at them like, hey, you can't do this. We didn't agree to be part of the MCU. They could just be like, oh no, he's playing J. Jonah Jameson from the Raimi universe, man. Not your Marvel universe. Which is probably why in the leaked set photos they're using the old Daily Bugle logo instead of the new Daily Bugle logo that we saw in the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. Look at me, just talking about how they're using this guy, I'm looking like a dang conspiracy theorist. Point is, we're getting more of this awesome character in future Spider-Man movies, and I couldn't be happier. How do you guys feel about J.K. Simmons returning for multiple Spider-Man movies, and how do you think they'll use his character? Jumping now into some trailer talk, or really discussing a big movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, that we're all looking forward to, and when we'll finally see this damn trailer. The movie Godzilla vs. Kong has been delayed multiple times, either for purposes of the movie not being complete, not essentially ready, or the pandemic, which has pushed it even further. I talked about in a previous side flick that it looked like it might be getting delayed again, with a lot of the merchandise that was going to come out on its date in September was moved all the way to March. But since I released that video and talked about that, all that merchandise got put back to the original date, giving us hope that the movie might not be delayed again, and pandemic or not, it will still be releasing in theaters this year. Well, just last night we learned that Godzilla vs. Kong has their official rating, that the movie will be PG-13, leading to the conclusion that if they're getting this movie sent for approval, they have plans to start marketing it soon, and they need a rating to be able to tell audiences what to expect and when to expect it. Thanks to film ratings, we went ahead and learned that Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be rated PG-13. Their exact description for why this is rated PG-13 for intense sequences of creature violence, destruction, and brief language. I know there's a lot of us out there that were hoping it was going to be rated R, but with the way the last Godzilla movie, King of Monsters, underperformed at the box office, they're not going to rate the big brawler Godzilla vs. Kong movie R, because they need as many butts in those seats to be able to give us more monster movies to come. And yeah, just like I said, since Warner Brothers is pushing this movie to get a rating on it, that means they're planning trailers and they're gonna stick forward with this new release date in September and not delay the movie any further. At least I hope so. Otherwise, it would be really pointless for Warner Brothers to have this movie get its rating for them just to put it back on the shelf and like, we're gonna delay this till March anyways, there's no point. No, if they got their official MPPA rating, this usually means a movie is getting their trailer within a month or two, and that's when we can expect to see the new Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. I can only imagine what will actually be in the trailer itself. We're definitely gonna get teases of Godzilla vs. Kong punching each other. I'm thinking a lot of slow motion things where they don't even meet yet. Really savoring the fight and probably focusing on the human characters making face reactions to these gods going, oh. That would be my face if I was in a Godzilla vs. Kong movie. But I do wonder if they will even show the hidden villain in the trailers. I don't want to say who it is, but I have to think, since a lot of the marketing has already leaked and toys have leaked and other promotional material has leaked, because this movie was supposed to be released months ago, that they might just go ahead and show you who the hidden villain is and be like, look, a lot of people already know, it's already out there, who cares, just show them and let's try to hype people up to bring them in the theater. What do you guys want to see in the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, and do you think they're gonna show the hidden villain? But that is just all the movie news I have to discuss today, guys. Don't forget to leave your opinions down below and hit that like button if you've made it this far. I got plenty other movie news to be coming to the channel pretty soon, so also follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.